This is Mile High.
Do I want to tell the story or do I want to show the message?
You've got a lot of work to do between Mile High.
The time has come where we can know
we have a responsibility, an ethical and moral responsibility.
We have to do it better in order to move people along.
Up, down, inside out.
If you get your mind right, it is not. It is a receiver of thought. Because love is my first technique.
it's now time for the show.
Welcome to the Mile High Podcast. This is your host, Dr. Daniel Knowles, the founder of the Mile High Chiropractic Movement Weekend, as well as Lifetime Wellness Practice. Thank you for being here with us. And most certainly, you never want to miss any Mile High tick. So hit subscribe wherever you are watching or listening to this, whether it be iTunes or Stitcher or Spotify, so you never miss any Mile High tick. And most certainly also, if you have not pulled the trigger on rising up to Mile High altitude in September, make sure you go to riseuptomilehigh.com where you can get all the details and get seats for yourself and your team, because that is coming up around the corner. Today's guest, I'm so excited. She's been a friend for quite a while, has attended Mile High many times. She's going to be on Mile High stage this year, which is super exciting. And now I'm getting nervous whether I'm going to pronounce her name wrong as we're recording. So she'll correct me if I'm wrong. Liza Cherubini, she's a chiropractor in Red Bank, New Jersey. She's dedicated her life to serving people at the highest level through chiropractic care that she's able to. She graduated from Life West and back in 2011. She's had some incredible mentors, some crossover mentors with myself, Dr. Pasquale Cerasoli, Sue Brown, Arno Burnier, Katina Manning, and Donna Mutter. And I feel like we're souls that have crossed paths for a long time, more than we known each other face to face. And she really now speaks and teaches around the country, teaches chiropractic around the country, and she's going to be with us today. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. It's an honor to be here. And thank you so much for all that you and Rochelle do. And by the way, you nailed my name. You got it right.
Oh, good. I was a little nervous.
That was awesome.
As I was looking, I was like, oh, wait a second. Am I going to say it wrong? So good. Well done. You know, I've learned, and you probably had, you got to celebrate the little wins.
Yes, we absolutely do.
So first of all, let's get to know you a little bit more personally. Can you share a little bit about how you found your way? Because there is unique origin stories, how you found your way to chiropractic.
Absolutely. So over the years when I was growing up, I did go to the chiropractor. And so, you know, I had some experience with that. And then I was at a point in my late 20s where I was really doing a deep dive in healing. I went down into the yoga path. I did a lot of studying with holistic nutrition. And then I was at a point where I innately started to sense that there was something missing, that there was a bigger picture, something bigger that I was supposed to be doing that was part of my purpose. So I ended up going on a meditation retreat for a week because, as you know, life can be so busy. And sometimes we just need to go into silence to really listen to those innate messages that are there. And so I went on a meditation retreat, and I was asking the question the entire week, who am I? Mm-hmm. Who am I? And I just get goosebumps when I think of that, because I put out that strong message to God. You know, what is it to see? Who am I? And every day I kept meditating on that. I sat and I was listening, but then I also actively prayed on it too. So I did both. I did the meditation, listening, going inward. And then I also actively prayed to ask for that answer to come through. At the end of that week, I was still asking, I was still praying, no answer yet. So I was a little bit a little bit of frustration. But then I was on my way home on the train. I closed my eyes and I was there relaxing, and the word came to me, chiropractor. Ugh. In that moment, there was this feeling, this feeling of peace that came over me and that surrounded me, and this love and this warmth and stillness that happened in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wasn't thinking of being a chiropractor. I actually did not explore that path at all. And it just, the innate message came to me. So then I was like, okay, I'm chiropractor. I got the calling. I gotta follow the call, which is what we're doing, following the call of what is our higher purpose? What is our spirit's higher purpose here? And so then I put out the question, I need a teacher. Where do I go from here? Fortunately, I had a couple of great chiropractors at the time. And, it was beautiful. Very soon after, someone said, hey, I am going to take you to see this chiropractor. He's in New York. He's in Brooklyn. And I want you to just experience it. So I end up going. I was taken to this place, to this chiropractor, and his name was Pasquale Cerasoli.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my first chiropractic, really, introduction of chiropractors together as a group, and seeing what the energy that was created in that space. I walked in and it was kind of dark, and it was, I was probably the only woman there. It was really awesome. The energy field and everything. Everyone was actively adjusting each other, and there was such purpose and intensity.
Uh-huh.
It really resonated with me, because I knew that, it was chiropractic. With my yoga background, I wanted to get into chiropractic to work and connect with the spirit. And that's what I saw in that space. I saw and I felt that the tone of the energy there was so powerful and so intentional and very spiritual. And it was really about, not just about this realm, but the next realm. There was all of this that started coming. And then, learning some of Pasquale's teachings over the years, it really resonated, and it put things into a greater perspective for me.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really the start of things. Then I went into chiropractic school. I started soon after. I started taking some seminars by Sue Brown, which really expanded my knowledge and opened up the possibilities with her potential energy theory and everything. And then I got on the table and I got an adjustment from someone by the name of Katina Manning. That was a very profound experience for me. I realized when I first got on her table, I didn't have high expectations, but there was something that happened when she's with her intention and her focus with me that basically transformed my practice.
Well, it's very interesting how different guides and mentors show up for us on our journey. And, that may be a good point to ask at this point, because you mentioned some important names. I remember Pasquale Cerasoli having an influence on me. I remember him speaking at Sherman College under some thunderstorms, which was very surreal, as he had a booming voice at the time and was sharing. It was kind of an interesting thing. And Katina has been at Mile High many times, and Sue, I have very significant experience. Sue, who have been some of your how there's one particular mentor that I know is a mentor of yours, and to so many in chiropractic, that has just recently crossed the threshold. Let's just say it that way. Dr. Arno Burnier, which has been very tragic because it's way early in my view. What can you share about how Arno Burnier has impacted your life?
Yeah, he was, when I was in school, I started taking some of Sue Brown's seminars, then went into some of Arno's teachings. Arno is, I'm so grateful. I just have to say, for his presence in this world, for his, what he did for chiropractors, and his dedication and his commitment, and most importantly for his love, and how he taught me that, for one, it's, you have to come from a love state. That was the first thing that I remember when I went to his seminars, that stuck with me forever, was that is about, you have to get yourself into a love vibration. Think of something that is very loving. Think of a moment that has happened. Get into that place before you put your hands on people. There's actually a really great quote from Viktor Frankl, who talked about that, how love really, when we're in that state, especially in chiropractic, it allows for people to open up and for that potential to be seen and for them to feel safe and all of these things. And, Arno taught me that from the beginning of chiropractic school, and like I said, it stuck with me. His ability to be vulnerable and to share, like he did in his beautiful book that he wrote. There's such vulnerability and beauty and truth in his teachings. And I have so much love and gratitude for, his being. And I know that we're all, still processing this, tremendous loss to our profession.
Yeah, truly. And he's, I remember, I'm sure you heard him tell this story, and many, many people have heard him tell this story about the doctor that he first saw, his chiropractor, and he said, switching the light on and off. And Arno turned on a lot of lights. He switched on a lot of lights. So,
yes.
Yeah. All of us, want to be able to switch on as many lights as possible, which means let's talk about purpose in chiropractic. Switching on a light, how do you connect that relative to what your purpose is in chiropractic?
Well, just like Arno, talked about, he always said, love, love, love. So I love that is, coming from a place, how important our energy is when we put our hands on someone, getting clear ourselves, and even making sure that even if we have an awkward, experience with a patient, we don't take that into the next room with another patient. We have to really clear ourselves and keep ourselves, our intention really clear, that, we're working with subluxation and we're working with potential. the potential that there is inherent in our, ability to express the highest in the highest possible way, and to, awaken ourselves. And I think most, really, Pasquale talked about experiencing heaven on earth. And I love that. I love that idea so much that, through the chiropractic adjustment, it's allowing that light to fully come through that is within us, that power to fully come through, so that there's that greater connection with innate and that potentiality for our lives in every way, not just in this realm, as Dee Dee said, but in the next.
Right. I remember reading that passage from Dee Dee before I guess I was considering going chiropractic school. I hadn't started the process. And that particular passage you just referenced it hit me like a ton of bricks at the time, or a ton of love, we could say.
Yeah.
And so then what inspired you to focus more on the spiritual connection aspect of chiropractic?
Mm-hmm. When I was in chiropractic school and I went to a BGI seminar, I was on the table, and Katina Manning was a huge influence for me, because she came over to the adjusting table, and even before she put her hands on me, I felt this opening. And I felt something that was so profound. I felt that she saw me and really saw me. And I think that has something to do too with, how Arno talked about the love frequency. And it wasn't even technique. It wasn't technique or approach specific. It was more of a mindset. And that's what it was that coming into my energy field with this, greater, it's like love, but also asking and connection. And then putting her hands on me, what I felt was that I wasn't in control anymore. I was trying to control it. I was feeling, I had this greater awareness of all the distortion of the years of subluxation that I had held onto, that was in my being. And then I started to feel that it's safe. I felt an expansion within myself. I felt the physical stuff just working itself out, that, those physical complaints and things may have been part of that, but maybe not. It put everything into perspective, that it's really about bringing together and allowing that spirit to come through the physical body. And that what we're doing as chiropractors in releasing subluxation through tone, I'm like, oh my God, this is incredible. It's absolutely incredible what we're doing.
Right. And there are times when I just look at my hand and say, how does this happen?
Yes.
I don't know, but I'll keep doing it.
Right. And then it's like, okay, I'm a vessel.
Right.
So, and I'm open to and I think the more we're in practice, it's, surrendering to that, just, allowing that to come through us is so beautiful.
I want to segue a second. Now that you said that, it's coming up, I want to ask you, you found your way to attending Mile High, I don't remember, a couple years ago. I don't remember how many times you've been there, but it's a handful. What inspired you to come to Mile High as an attendee? And then why'd you keep coming back? What did you enjoy about it or love about it that you came back?
Every time I've been to Mile High, for one, there's a lot of practical knowledge that I've gained, and how I always have these ahas, and I love having those greater insights and ahas.
I love that too. That's one of my things.
It's the best. That those ahas are really every time I leave, and it might be I'm on the plane, or maybe it's during the seminar, I have an aha, and it's pretty big for my life. I love, the energy field that's created at Mile High is so beautiful in terms of, the people that you have coming up on stage. And, it's, for me, when we're in practice every day and we're hearing people are telling us a lot of their problems at times, right? They can share with us. We're putting our hands on people. I think it's really, really important for us to get clear. We have to get clear as the chiropractors. So I look at Mile High as part of something that helps me get clear so that I can serve at the highest level possible, and so that it can be sustainable for me to do what we're doing.
I love that. I'll say this, just because you were talking about the spirit and chiropractic and that aspect of it, when it downloaded or came to me to put this event on, which is a much bigger undertaking than people imagine, truly, or than I imagined. Do you ever have that thing of like, if you opened a practice, if you knew what it was take, you may not, it's a good thing you didn't know. But if you knew what it was, you may not have done it. Right?
Exactly.
So same kind of thing. But there was a part of that was this, altitude, higher altitude, center of the country. People come from the outskirts to the center of the country to get lifted up and have a higher consciousness experience of chiropractic, and to uplift the higher consciousness aspect of chiropractic. Like that was all in that field of what, and thus the name and what it wanted it to be in people's experience. And as I listened to you, I said, wow, I'm really kind of humbled that is, came through, to you, because you said that very, very exactly what I want to see. So then, with that, are you excited to give people some ahas?
Yes. Oh, yes. I'm just so happy, and, looking forward to sharing. And exactly, we're spreading the ahas. Yeah.
Right. There's something that I say when I go to an event. There's two things, because you just hit this for me. In adjusting people, taking care of people's office, people often ask, well, what do you love about it? And I say I live for the light bulb moment. So if something happens when a practice member has a light bulb, either they say something that they got or something changed in their body that they got. Like, because they're like, it's like winning, but it's like gambling because you don't know when it's going to happen. It's like, but like, it's like, whoa, this is so great that they got this thing about chiropractic, whatever. Same thing going to a seminar. Like, you never know what you're going to get that changed the direction of my life. And it can be something that was a conversation in a party. It can be conversation at lunch. It can be something someone said on stage. It can be something the person said next to you. But it's like those gems for, I know maybe played out to use that phrase is really, what is amazing, so yeah. So what do you know yet? Any idea of what topic matter you're going to speak to? I know we're weeks out, so you may not yet.
I do.
Oh, okay.
I do. And it's, I have, a theme, but also a powerful patient story that I'm going to integrate as well, with some teaching points. So I think people are really going to love it.
Well, I'm sure they will. I don't have a doubt about it. So why is it important to connect the spiritual and the physical?
So, for one, so there's a quote that I love from Didi, in his 1910 book. And it's, and I'm just going to read it. It's, the universe is composed of the invisible and visible, spirit and matter. life is but the expression of spirit through matter. To make life manifest requires the union of spirit and body. And I just love that so much. For one, I think getting back to, the roots of chiropractic and what's possible with chiropractic in helping people with their spiritual evolution, is for me, that inspires me. I feel, that's what I love to do. That's where my strength is. My strength is more in that than anything. So, I think it's important for us to hone in and develop and really learn and talk more about tone. How do we feel it? How do we know? For me, I hear it. I do. I mean, that's kind of I know, Dee Dee talked a lot about the tissues and the organs. There was a lot of that. And also we have quantum physics and quantum mechanics that have really expanded, science and our understanding of how, interconnected we are. So just to answer, your question with that, I think for me personally, I'm inspired. That's what I love to do. I'm inspired to help with that spiritual connection and evolution and to, really learn to feel what is that dissonant tone in the body, that subluxation that's there, literally dampening the light. So it's very inspiring. Also getting back to the roots of chiropractic and some of the things that Dee Dee had talked about in terms of, helping people like this is a preliminary step that we're helping people from this world to the next. And, that has been really inspiring for me as well. I also think having people learn what chiropractic is and what is possible with chiropractic, what is possible when we receive chiropractic. As much as, many people come in with symptom relief, it's really interesting because they're talking about their physical pain. And what I go back to is, well, there's also the pain of the soul, the pain of the spirit. So they are in pain. It's just a matter of, that tone is learning to really connect with and be clear within ourselves and feel for the tone of their spirit, and then allowing that integration to happen and notice, where do my hands want to go? Okay, they're talking about something here, but my hands really don't want to go there. We get really sensitive in listening, looking and feeling and, knowing this like a bit more expanded perspective of tone.
And it's so important. And then that Dee put that as what chiropractic is founded upon, yet there's so little conversation about it in chiropractic education, so little. So now how do you integrate into your practice and your conversation with practice members about physical and spiritual?
At first, I think it's really important when people first come in is, and I'm talking about tone in a way that, so like I said, Dee Dee talking about the tissues and the organs. And I think too, there was a lot maybe that he wanted to explain, but maybe, it couldn't, like the science wasn't totally there or whatever. But I noticed right away when people first come in, what is their voice like on the phone? What is, there's, when they fill out their paperwork, like, there's physical, emotional, chemical, do they skip over the emotional stress part? There's certain things that right away I start to observe when I meet them, I always take a moment before I just go and get directed by, say, their symptoms, like them just right away, like, oh, I have this going on, da, da, da. I'm taking that in and I acknowledge who they are and, what they're experiencing. I'm not pushing that away. And at the same time, I'm just taking a step back to feel for the tone of what's going on for them. Are they stressed? Are they angry? Are they, where's there a break in the field? When I'm just already taking in the essence of their spirit. And I find that to be, for me, that has been, whether they're a newborn baby or 100 years plus, it doesn't matter. It's practicing seeing people, because from that, love comes from that.
Yes.
And safety comes from that. Just like Arno said, that love just comes through us. And when that love comes through us, people feel safe to be and to heal and to show the subluxation. The subluxation comes up to be seen, and they're part of the process. They're part of this greater process. Yeah.
Well, and process is a key word. And this is an important area to talk about, is that so often people see health and disease, health and illness, illness and wellness as an event, right? And they often see the adjustment and subluxation the same way, as an event. Can you talk about all three of those things being a process: health, subluxation, and adjustment?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We know that as chiropractors, that there's something really powerful that happens with long-term chiropractic care. And even we were talking about the ahas, right? We don't know when people are going to have an aha with their life and with their with everything. So for example, I have this woman that I've been adjusting her for the past year. And, she's coming consistently, and, she's, talked about her neck and her low back pain. When I work with her, I'm feeling for the tone, listening to where my hands are, where am I being directed. She just recently, it's been a year of consistent care, and I'm sure you have many people like this that you can think of, that all of a sudden something profound shifted in her, and she doesn't have all of these walls that I can feel, that all of a sudden those walls have been removed. And I happened to, it was like one day I was working on her, and I felt this huge shift in her. And I asked her, I said, have you noticed anything different? She said, yeah, I've just noticed that I am so at peace. I have such ease in my body. And I just feel like I can breathe better. I feel happier. And but it took that long, and looking back at her history, her mother, there was, died early. There was a disease. There was a subluxation pattern that she was also carrying that was just, with time and consistency, it shifts our being. It shifts our consciousness. It raises the consciousness so that, we can really be who we are. And that inspires me so much, whether it's, like I said, no matter what the age is, whether it's a little child who comes in with, a certain diagnosis or whatever, it's like, no, I'm going to connect with the spirit and see what's going on with them and feel for the tone, remove the subluxation and trust it. Give it time and space as a process, and then educate them too. as we start to, at first, I never like to just talk so much at the beginning with people, that especially the first visit, I listen to them. What do you need to say? Tell me a little bit about your life, da, da, da. And then little by little, we know when those windows are, because we get a little knock on the shoulder. Okay, talk about this or do this. And it's part of that connection with them. So that the education is huge.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I couldn't agree more. And it's so often that people minimalize chiropractic to what has happened in a week or a visit or a month of care or 10 visits or whatever it might be. And hey, look, every single adjustment makes a difference. If a person gets adjusted once, it changes their life forever. I firmly understand that. Yet I know there's a bigger gift. And the bigger gift, I always want to give the biggest gift possible. The bigger gift is someone having care as a process through their life and how that impacts their life and their state of beingness throughout their whole life. And so, my aim in caring for people, as I'm picking up yours is that people get the biggest gift possible, from the energy that I'm bringing to them in our care, and so that they get that process of their body changing.
Yeah. And it's something that I've thought about quite a bit, is how, chiropractic is for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if everyone is ready for chiropractic.
Mm-hmm.
I've had certain people who they come in and they get one adjustment and that's it. And we look at what our intention is and what chiropractic is doing on an evolutionary level. And that's where, for me, I have to just step back and say, okay, they got what they needed. For those people who sometimes they come in once, maybe that's what, that's what was needed right now. And
Mm-hmm.
perhaps those people will find their way back to chiropractic.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, and people are at different parts of their own healing journey.
Yes.
Right. They're in their healing life cycle, we could say, right? So, and judging them does not help, right? So, and
Exactly.
choosing to what perspective you're interacting with them, where you're going to put your energy is also something. So, you want to be at odds with them. You could choose to do that. I don't know that that's necessarily good for you, right?
It's so true.
It may not be good for them, may not be good for you. And where do you want to take care of people in a different part of their health and healing life cycle, right?
Yeah.
So, and that becomes what's your life cycle for you as a healer, and where do you want to put your energy, because you're on that path as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have your own growth too. So I know that you're going to bring gifts to people, whatever their life cycle is in their journey as a healing facilitator, as a chiropractor, by being on stage at Mile High.
Oh my gosh. It really is such an honor, Danny, really.
Well, we're thrilled to have you. I look forward to seeing you and giving you a high altitude hug. And and we'll see you at that time. Is there any last thing you'd like to share with our Mile High audience before you see them live in September? Yeah,
so get your friends, find as many people as you can, get to Mile High, bring your whole team. It's going to be this year. It's going to be amazing. It's always amazing. Every time you're going to have ahas. It really could change the whole trajectory of your life and your career. And the last thing I do want to say in honor of Arno is to remember, love, love, love.
Love it. Love it. And we'll do that on higher ground too. Maybe I think we'll have a moment for him for sure. So we can do a love, love, love for him.
Perfect.
Yes. So thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you on Higher Ground, and also look forward to seeing everybody who's watching, listening. Keep changing spines, lives, and minds with chiropractic. And we look forward to seeing you rise up to Mile High. Just go to riseuptomilehigh.com, and that's where you would get all the details about this calendar year. See you there.